I stood in my foyer with my hand hovering over the doorknob, checking my reflection in the hall mirror one last time. I looked tired, bone deep, the kind that comes from years of keeping the peace by swallowing myself. I adjusted my coat and reached for the handle. Marissa had called it a reconciliation brunch. Just sisters, she promised. A fresh start. I'd said yes because saying no to her always came with a price, and I was tired of paying in public. My phone buzzed. I expected a chirpy, "Are you on your way?" Instead, a message from Grant Holloway, our family's estate attorney, lit the screen in all caps. "Call me now. Do not go there." I froze, thumbs suspended over the glass, then hit dial. Grant answered before the first ring finished. "Elena, listen carefully. Don't go to her house. Don't eat or drink anything she offers. Lock your door right now. I'm coming over." "Grant," I whispered, "what is this?" "An emergency petition," he said, voice lowered as if the walls were listening. "Deadbolt, now." I slid the bolt home, tested it, then backed away from the door like it might open on its own. Rain pattered against the sidelights. My brunch outfit suddenly felt like a lie I'd put on for someone else's comfort. 20 minutes later, headlights swept across my wet driveway. Grant strode up without an umbrella, suit dark with rain, a thick plastic folder pressed to his chest. He didn't hug me. He didn't even say hello. He walked straight into my kitchen, dropped the folder on the island, and pointed at a chair. "Sit," he said. "Read this like numbers, not like blood." Grant opened the folder and slid the first page to me. Court seal. My name, respondent, Elena Hart. Petitioner, Marissa Wexler and Pierce Wexler. Allegation, acute manic episode. Immediate suspension of rights. My chest tightened. They're calling me insane. "Legally," Grant said, "incapacitated. Read the exhibits." The first photo was from my mother's funeral. I wore her vintage white silk dress. The bodice was soaked in dark red. My eyes looked wild. Caption: Erratic behavior at graveside. I remembered Marissa drifting close, stumbling, then dumping a glass of Cabernet down my front. The cold shock, the spreading stain, her scream for witnesses. "Oh God, Elena, she's losing it." I hadn't dropped anything. She'd made me look dangerous. "She staged it," I whispered. Grant slid over an appraisal. Harrogate Manor, $14.5 million. I'd been paying taxes, calling it legacy. Marissa saw a lockbox. If I was declared unfit, she got the key. My laptop pinged. Marissa was live. On screen, she hugged her knees in a beige sweater, tear-bright and fragile. She told strangers she loved her sick sister, that she'd tried a quiet brunch intervention, that I was paranoid and refusing help. Sympathy flooded in. If I fought back, I'd look like the patient she'd described. I pulled my calendar history. Dozens of missed appointments I didn't recognize. Each entry showed edits by admin. Then the login record. An iPad Pro, not mine, connecting from an IP in Marissa's neighborhood. Someone had been moving my life an inch at a time until I stumbled and apologized. A pounding rattled my front door. On my security feed, a girl stood beside a fallen bicycle. When I opened it, my 16-year-old niece Tessa blurted, "They can't know I'm here." Tessa's raincoat dripped onto my tile as I pulled her inside and locked the deadbolt. "I signed it," she said. "Mom wrote the affidavit and made me copy it. She threatened my college fund. She made me say you were violent. It's not true." I wrapped her hands around a mug. "You're safe here." She slid a tablet from her backpack. "Uncle Pierce reuses passwords. I found a recording." Grant returned before midnight. We listened at my kitchen island. Pierce's voice crackled. "If the judge signs Tuesday, how fast can we liquidate the manor?" Marissa answered, flat and practical. "Once Elena's in a facility, she won't know it's gone. Keep Tessa quiet." In the same cloud folder sat Project Phoenix, a developer contract, a non-refundable wire, a demolition schedule. They weren't dreaming. They were desperate. "They've spent the deposit," Grant said. "That's why the rush." I opened my parents' firebox and pulled a thin document I'd ignored for years. A federal conservation easement. Permanent protection. No demolition. Break it, and the government seizes the property. I sent Grant the calendar login screenshots and the funeral photos timestamp, then had Tessa's recantation notarized before sunrise, quietly. At Tuesday's hearing, I wore defeat-like makeup and agreed to a temporary conservatorship over the estate. I even handed Marissa control of Harrogate, watching her smile turn greedy. At dawn, bulldozers arrived. So did federal agents and preservation officers. The developer raged. Marissa's livestream caught sirens, badges, and her own handcuffs. Weeks later, she begged at my gate. I stayed behind the glass. On Harrogate's porch, Tessa leaned into my side. The house stood, and so did we.